All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the young adult panel discussion that we are having this morning. This is going to be an amazing panel discussion because we have watched the movie, we've looked over the clip that we'll be watching this morning, part of this morning, and we're going to have an amazing discussion with some really good questions. The purpose of this panel discussion is to talk about the theme, Do You See Me Now? Do you see me now? And this theme came about simply out of a conversation that, yes, a young adult conversation of, yes, we are here, and yes, we are active where you want us to be active, but do you really see us? Do you really see us? And within that conversation, we brought forth a movie that also says the same thing as the young woman talks about. Well, do people really see me as who I am as a young adult? In this case, being a young adult in the Black church, in our churches. And so I want to begin by just introducing our panelists this morning. We'll start with Miss Joy Stinson. If you'll just tell us your name, what conference you are from, and then we will go from there.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joy Stinson, president of the 6th Episcopal District YPD, and I hail from the Atlanta North Georgia Conference.
Okay, Desmond.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Desmond Beal, president of the Augusta, Georgia Conference YPD, and I'm from the Augusta Conference.
Okay. Jeremy.
Good morning. I'm Jeremy Satterwhite, president of the 6th Episcopal District Richard Allen Young Adult Council, and I am from the Atlanta North Georgia Annual Conference.
Okay, Errenous.
Good morning. I'm Errenous Evans, and I'm coming to you from the Southwest Georgia Conference.
And Brian.
Morning, everybody. Brian Tukes, member of the Richard Allen Young Adult Council, and my home conference is the Macon Conference, presently Atlanta North Georgia Conference.
Ashley.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ashley Cloud. I'm from the South Georgia Conference down here in South Georgia, and I'm just glad to be on, everyone.
Amen. Thank you all so much. And so I'm going to hand it over to Joy to introduce our movie. We're going to watch a 15-minute clip, and then we're going to talk through it.
All right, so just to give a brief synopsis of the movie we'll be talking about is Beyond the Lights, which came out in about 2014. And it just discussed how a young adult woman who is now this big pop star coming from Europe into the United States, and she's having a hard time juggling success and being in the spotlight, especially with her momager who is being very hard on her, trying to make sure that she stays successful and stays a star. And with all these troubles that she has, she attempts suicide, which her bodyguard, who is a member of the LAPD, stops her, and they go on, and she continues through her life despite this suicide attempt. Before she even admits that she did it, she was basically told to lie and say that it was an accident. She didn't mean to do it, but she is blessed to be alive. And later on in the movie, she and her mom get into this huge argument. And one of the questions that she asks her mom is like, do you see me now? Like, despite everything that she has gone through, like, do you finally see her for who she is as a young adult that she is? And that's kind of the scene that we're going to use to lead into our discussion of, do we see young people and young adults in the church today, and how we can move forward with an action plan to get our young adults active in the church.
And so I'm going to share the video that I have here. Let's see. There we go. It should already be up here. One moment, y'all. Okay. Can everyone hear me? We're having a little technical issue right now. Can everyone hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. We're having a slight technical issue going on right now. Reverend Thomas, could you help us just a little bit? Because I am stalled. Ladies and gentlemen, please excuse me. I'm stalled right now. Joy, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay. Joy, if you would, while we're trying to get straight, because I'm frozen right now, you gave us a synopsis of the movie just a moment ago, and I don't know, you're probably looking at my screen right now. I'm going to get out and come back in, but I'd like you to continue in going into the conversation concerning the movie Beyond the Lights.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am. So essentially, our first question is, what has been your experience as a young person in the church, whether you have served in a role, whether you are a pastor's kid, but what has essentially been your role in the church, and how have you used that role to give the young adults a voice? And anyone can answer.
Well, I'll go first. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
My role in the church, I feel, and I am a PK as well, but I've also been a district youth director, my church youth director. I've also been in YPD myself as growing up in the church. So I just feel like my role as of right now is to be present and to be consistent. I feel like a lot of times being young, we fall off the consistency part of it. And so that's a big thing for me right now. Something that I'm working on myself, just being consistent, being present, being available for the use of the church and what God would have us to do. So that's a big thing for me, just the consistency of being young people and seeing us present. So that's my input for right now.
Anyone else wants to share on that topic? If not, we can go ahead and play on that point of consistency that Ashley was talking about. So can we discuss some things that maybe is the reason why young adults are not being consistent in the church? Whether that be a personal thing, whether that be a church thing, but what are some things that we experience as young adults that may cause us to become inconsistent with being active in the church?
I guess I should say something, huh? Oh, go ahead, Jamal. Go ahead, Jamal. Go ahead. I'll follow up after you.
Okay, so for me, as it relates to the movie, I believe how the artist was not being seen as a person. She was only being looked at. A lot of times I used to quote, "You looked at me, but you didn't see me." And in the movie, obviously, she, everybody looked at her, how nice her body was, how talented she was, how she could sing and all of this, but nobody actually seen how she was as a person. Nobody actually seen that. And I believe sometimes as young adults in the church, people see us, when we're able to work the social media platform, when we're able to work the technology. But then when it comes to us wanting to be a part of the steward board or the trustee board or being in leadership roles in the church, I believe a lot of times the church, I'm going to say the church as a whole, misses that we are young adults and we're actually capable of being leaders in other capacities.
That's a good point.
I would add to that especially contemplating the movie, they were, especially the thing that Jamal just referenced. It was interesting because she was the reason or the subject of the meeting, but she was pretty much rendered voiceless. Her voice was literally the reason everyone was gathered in the meeting, but she was literally rendered speechless and not even acknowledged in the decision-making process over her own voice, over her own talent. And I think that draws a lot of parallels to the dichotomy young adults face because we're in the room, we bring talents, we're undeniable, but yet there are power structures that are hard to penetrate. And for whatever reasons there may be. And I think that just, especially personally speaking, boardroom has been kind of sacrosanct in my experience with the church, having served on a few YPD executive boards. I've spent a lot of times on behalf of the church in boardrooms. And so the setting of the boardroom wasn't lost upon me, that a lot of decisions are made for this church in boardrooms, but yet young adults are present, but they're often rendered voiceless. It's almost there as a representative, so to speak, and not necessarily a delegate. Or vice versa, however you want to conceptualize it. But I think that was a very striking scene because there were definitely some parallels between being at the table, being a lot of the reason for the discussion, because these discussions aren't new. We've been having these discussions for some time, but still being rendered voiceless because the decisions that are going to be ultimately made are by a power structure that oftentimes we're not invited to penetrate.
You make a good point. You make a real good point. Both you, Brian, and Gamal, y'all make some really good points because I hear you saying that we get used as placeholders just to say that, hey, we got youth and we got young adults here just to show up so that we can, so that we can be seen, so to speak. But at the same time, we're not heard. We're seen as placeholders, but we're not really seen. We're not heard, and many times we're not understood. And is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Jeremy, I know you wanted to add something.
I was gonna say what Brian was saying, looking at the movie, and mind you, I just watched 30 minutes of it this morning. But in the beginning of it, it's almost as if it's fact. Her mother was making all her decisions. Her mother was in charge of her voice, if you will, Brian. And when you look at the church, a lot of times we've gotten to a point where churches or pastors or leaders, we just like that tokenism method. We just put a young adult here to say we had a young adult on program, to say we had a young adult on the committee. We never really make them in charge of the committee. We just put them on the committee so that we can feel like, oh yeah, we had a young adult on the committee, but that young adult wasn't an active participant in that committee. We just had them there. And so we've got to move past the point of having them there, but letting them lead and let them take charge.
Good morning, everybody. I'm sorry I missed the intros. I was backstage. I'm Amber from Old Georgia Conference. I have to agree with Satterwhite that but we almost get to a point where we wait too late to ask the right questions. As far as not being able to hear the person. Sorry, y'all, my mom's in the background. As not being able to hear the person when they're up there and they're this figurehead for the youth. Ultimately, we're giving the right answers, but we're not necessarily being heard at the right moment. And so it's unfortunate that we get to the point where we have to have conversations like this. And it's like too late. It's for many of us, it's to the point where it's too late and we're backtracking. And that's one of the cycles we really have to work on stopping.
So question, what is the right moment? Can you tell, because I heard you say we missed the chance to ask the right questions at the right moment. What is that right moment, and why is it too late? Why do you feel it's too late?
Funny because I was just talking with my coworkers and my mom about this earlier. I believe one of the right moments would be when an individual, when a youth in the church actually stops becoming, I don't want to say special, but they aren't necessarily put on the pedestal that we would traditionally put them on. So when a youth isn't called upon anymore to do an Easter speech, or they aren't called upon anymore to do like a scripture, or it's not something that's like organically done in a way that makes them feel that we're really putting a spotlight on them. Just typically around that age of like 12, which is weird to say because in YPD, that's when we become a voting age and you're given this power. But I think too many times we're put in that position where here's the power that you do have versus what, once again, what we're saying, what we're actually capable of doing. It needs to be a lot more. My background is in counseling, and so we do a lot of talk about person-centered. It needs to be a lot more youth-centered at a point where we really don't want them to drop off, which is just before like teenage years.
Gotcha. So about the age of 12, you're saying that's when I stop giving you power and I allow you to use your own agency. I allow you to use what you have. I let the strings loose just a little bit and allow you some leadership opportunities. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
And starting at 12, just nurturing where you want to go from there within
Absolutely.
the church. Gotcha. So that's where that right moment is. Go ahead.
I'd like to add on that about, I think the question was, when is the right time? I think the church has existing infrastructures to honestly, to answer the question, when. I mean, you graduate from the YPD at a certain age, you matriculate through the YPD at a certain age, you enter different organizations, at certain age limits and whatnot, up to 35 as far as the youth engagement in the church is concerned. Those points of entry. I think the issue is not so much when, but strengthening that infrastructure and those pipelines and those handoffs. We kind of know when folk leave these organizations, there needs to be, a readier or a more stabilized, really just a more present handoff of when. We know we've spent this time developing leaders and cultivating leaders in the YPD. And so up until, 25 and 26, whenever someone may graduate out the organization. And so that's kind of the win for me, but it's for a lot of people that there's, when that time comes, the pipelines that feed into the organizations or the infrastructure is there. I think they just they would benefit from better resources, better attention, whatever the case may be. But we have in our discipline, we have times of when these handoffs occur and when young adults can join and activate in these organizations. It's just a matter of giving these organizations the resources and really strengthening those pipelines cross-organizationally.
I agree with you, Brian. And what I also hear you saying is that we have the infrastructure, but maybe we need the relationship to maintain growth as a leader.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of that, creating that synergy between organizations within the existing organizations within the church, creating that synergy, creating that network, so that young adults are still able to have space that they can use their talents.
Thank you for that. I think that's very powerful what you just said, because like you said, the synergy, the being seen and not feeling as though you're invisible, and then having relationships that keep you connected, that network that keeps you in and that keeps you going is very important. Having that network of people, and that network disappears around 25 or 26, as you mentioned. And although we have the infrastructures, they're not active to maintain the connection. Any thoughts about that? What are y'all thinking? I hear you nodding. What are you thinking? Go ahead, Ashley.
I have thoughts because I'm gonna tell my age. I'm almost 30. So I've kind of seen the process from when I was like 8 or 9 all the way up. And I really feel like I feel a little bit different because I do feel like I have a voice and a presence. And I do and I really feel like it starts with your local church. And I feel like a lot of it is on the role of the pastor mending those relationships when it is at that 25 mark. Okay, what do we do with you now that you're 20, 26? Let's mend these groups, let's mend these and let's bridge it to where you just stop, but you bridge over into other things. So I'll say at my church, I really feel like pastors and their involvement and including their youth to make sure that gap doesn't happen, because we all know that gap is there and our pastors know that gap is there. So the question is, what are we doing about it actively at our local church to stop it from bridging over to the local level or the whatever level it needs to go over to? What do we do to stop it at the local church to make that involvement keep going? Because I feel as though I'm involved to, points to where I need to be right now. But I feel like a lot of it is on your local church. What do you do with your local church? What is their activity level? What do they represent? So that's my take on it.
What has been your experience, ladies and gentlemen? What has been your experience concerning the relationships and filling in that gap? Have you had any experience where your pastors or where you've seen that gap trying to be filled? And if not, how do you do that?
So for me, I grew up in the same church since I was basically born. So when I became older, became a young adult in the church, they still, I felt like they still saw me as that young boy, the young man that was the president of the YPD or the treasurer of the local YPD at the church. Versus when I became an adult, they still see me as that young boy that was the president of the YPD, and I'm saying to them, like, I want to start leadership things. I want to start, overheading projects. I want to start leading the YPD into doing bigger things, into different programs and things. But they were so how do I put this? They were so comfortable in the old way of doing things that it was hard to make movement. And actually that really affected me because I ended up leaving that church. And so in the church that I went to, I go there and they didn't know me as the young Gamal that was running around the church when he was 5. They know me as the leader that came in. They know me as Mr. Gamal that comes in and teaches youth church, children's church, or whatever you want to call it. They know me as the leader that comes in and chairs the church's praise in the park. They know me as more of a leader just because they didn't see me as that young child. They just saw me as a young adult that came ready to work. So I think that we have to get in a space where we see our millennials and we see our young adults as people that are here and ready to work. Because if you don't, then they start to fall off. And as it relates to the movie, they start to get ready to jump off the balcony, so to speak, in regard to the scene where she was about to commit suicide. Like we get ready to, jump off the balcony. We get ready to leave the church. We get ready to go to other things. And we're looking for somebody to save us. But just like in the scene in the movie, the mother was standing there. She didn't know what to do when she saw her daughter ready to jump off the balcony. And I feel like sometimes that's the church. We don't know what to do. We're froze. We're stuck right here in this moment. Our young people are jumping off the balcony, and here we are just standing there like, okay, we don't know what to do.
Right.
And then
I'm sorry, because you on a roll, but it's so good. I just got to comment on it, because then what happens is we jump off the balcony. The young adults jump off of the balcony, and somebody else catches us and say, "Hey, I see you. I see you. Let's work together. I want to get to know you. I want to get to know your leadership and your talents and everything that's going on with it." And we go with them. We leave our churches and we go with them, because we stand there frozen, sometimes because the church stands there, sometimes because they're comfortable, sometimes because they're scared to hand over power and position. And we get ourselves in a mess. Go ahead, Gamal, but it was just too good. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that, like exactly what you were saying, that somebody else comes along, like the officer, and helps us up. Related to my story, I left my church. I was jumping off the balcony, but then I visited another church, and bam, they just grabbed me. They saved me. You know what I'm saying? Because I could have ended up anywhere else. And it's a lot of young adults and millennials that end up in other places because they didn't feel comfortable enough to be in the church. They didn't feel welcome enough to be in the church. So they end up going elsewhere.
And if you know, and Jeremy, I see you. I know you want to comment, but if you notice,
you already know.
If you notice, the police officer caught her and said, "I see you," and she was just mesmerized that this man sees her. But the mother is still frozen, and when she gets her daughter back, she keeps going like nothing happened. It's like she's in denial. It's almost as if she knows that the lie that she told to the media was a lie, and that she really did try to attempt suicide. But the mom just went on. She just went on like nothing happened. And I think that's what happens to our churches, is that we let our folks go on as though we don't have access to them anymore, as though we can't call them or talk to them and bring them back and nurture them. We just let it go and move on as usual. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I wanted to very quickly touch on two things. Going back to what Joy said earlier about consistency. And it needs to be said that young adults can be consistent. We all know that young adults can be consistent. But young adults, millennials, youth in this day and age, it's 2021, are not going to fight you to serve. They're not going to fight you to do what they want to do in your church or their home church. Because at this point, they can go elsewhere and do the exact same thing, if not more, in another denomination or another church. So I know a lot of people out here that are watching are saying in the back of their head, but they're just not consistent. Yeah, they can be consistent, but they're not going to fight you because they don't have to. And then the second thing I wanted to touch on is we've got to get back to investing in our youth and young adults in our local churches. It's fine to put them as a junior steward. I was a junior steward for quite a while. The question is, how long do they stay in that junior role or that second role or whatever? So we've got to get back to investing. Who's the next vice chair of the finance committee? Who's the next steward board pro tem? Do you have two steward boards? Do you have like a junior steward board? Are you trying out someone younger? Not even a youth or young adult. Are you trying out someone younger in those roles? Are you reaching back and grabbing the hand of the person that's supposed to come behind you? Are we investing in our youth and young adults? Because if it's to a point where if you die tomorrow and the church doesn't know what to do, then we have failed. Not only have we failed our youth and young adults, we failed ourselves and we failed our church. Mm-hmm. So we've got to get back to investing.
Yeah. And that's the biggest part. That's the biggest part, investing in relationship and investing in being open enough and open-minded enough to let somebody else lead. I saw a comment just a minute ago that said that some people would rather hold the baton till they die than see someone else, be trained or walk in their shoes or be trained to, replace them at some point. And so I think that we have to invest, but also our churches have to make sure that they are open-minded and intentional about training someone, to take the next steps when they leave.
Yeah,
So there's
that's
that
a very good
investment.
point.
Go ahead, Joy.
And I was just going to say, I think even with the investment part, it's time for us to get back to shadowing. Like there was a point in time where there will be people of power in the church, or those agents of change in the church, that would pick up a young person and say, hey, this is my role in the church. This is what I do. I want you to shadow me in this position so that one day when I do age out of this position, or one day when if I do pass on, you are able to take on this role. A lot of times what happened is when people do die with the baton in their hand, then they're looking for a younger person to take on that role, and then they don't know what to do. And then it becomes well, you're not doing this role effectively. And it's like, what training did I have in this role? So I think that it's time for us to get back to shadowing in these positions, but not only us reaching out to those other people in power, but them reaching out to us. I think we always have to be the ones to extend the hand of, hey, I want to shadow you. But I think it's time for those who are agents of change to say, pick up someone and say, hey, follow me, and this is what my role is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I hear you. So when you say shadowing, of course, shadowing, mentoring, something of that sort.
Absolutely.
To make sure that we have like the woman who was jumping off the balcony, you have that person to catch you and say, hey, I see you.
Yes.
And I want to invest in you, as Jeremy mentioned. Okay. What do y'all say to that? What are you thinking? I see faces and expressions, and I know you thinking. What are you thinking?
I have
Say it out loud.
I have something, and I'll probably always have something. I teach y'all, so I love discussions. I love talking about stuff. It's very open. But to hear a lot of your experiences is, it's not new. I've heard it before, but hear what you guys are saying, everything that you're saying, it's like the question is, okay, whose responsibility was it, start these training programs, start the shadowing program? And I really feel like you have to look at your local church. How is the infrastructure and ultimately the pastors make these decisions at church? So and I feel like a lot of times, and I've been in two churches, one I grew up in, and I had a pastor who was and wanted to follow tips. And I feel like the mindset of your pastor is the first step, making sure, okay, Gamal before he falls, or we him before he decides to leave, or let's try him in leadership role before he decides to leave. And I think, and I feel like I'm a bit of an advantage. I am a pastor, and my mom is a pastor, so I real conversations that I have with her, or what is our youth, and a lot of churches feel like we don't have enough real conversations with our pastors and our people in leadership, a lot of times because of fear of their reaction or how they may feel about what we may think, or, oh, we're too young. But I feel like if we really open the lines of communication to say, hey, this is what we need to see, or this is what I would like to do. And I feel like I'm able to have that open conversation because my pastor just so happens to be my mom. So I'm more visual with saying, okay, I see these young people. Hey, we don't need to lose them. What are we going to do? What can I do to help them stay on board so they don't feel like a lot of people on the panel feel? And I hate to hear this, especially when people have had different experiences. But I feel like a lot of things that we're dealing with starts at our local churches. What are our local leadership and our local pastors? What are they going to do to make sure this doesn't spill over into other levels? That's a big part for me.
Ashley, I heard you say open communication, and I can just hear somebody on this call saying, okay, I understand that. I know what open communication is, and, talking to someone and being honest and transparent. But what does that look like when I'm talking to my pastor? Because my pastor is not my mom and my dad. This is this figure that I've put up here, and I'm intimidated. I'm a little skittish about talking. What does that look like? What does open communication look like for that person who wants to have that conversation?
I feel it's really just being honest first and foremost. And I feel like people in leadership roles, even if pastors, they should be honest with the vision and how their church is set up. And if we really are honest when we have these conversations, when it comes from a pastor standpoint, when it comes from a standpoint, or we need to be honest and look at where it's headed. Is it headed in a direction we don't have the shadow, don't have the training that we need, or what direction is it headed in? But I really feel like it all is, and really the mindset and leadership of your pastor. Is the youth even on the radar for your pastor concerned about? Or are they more about, I hate to say it, but I saw in the comments earlier that young people have to be more consistent with tithing. So that was a big issue when it comes to have leadership roles. Well, what's the outlook of your pastor? Is that what they're solely looking at? Or they're looking at the other benefits from having young people in leadership roles versus tithing as one of the top priorities? So those things, I feel like when we pull young people, have those honest conversations, other than just the aspects, that part will come, but leadership, so they feel that tithing is more valuable, even though that's what we're supposed to do. It's just the value of it, being valued and being honest and having that communication.
Yeah. Errenous, Joy, and Gamal, I see both of you unmuted. Errenous, I'm going to start with you, and we'll go to Joy and then Gamal.
Okay. Speaking to how you asked, how do you go about speaking to your pastor to make sure that your voice is heard on all levels, not just the levels that they deem young people capable of? And I think that a lot of that has to do with, like Ashley said, your pastor being open and receptive to hearing it. Because you can scream at the top of your lungs, but if somebody's listening ears are not on and they're not actively trying to understand you, there's going to be a gap. And also, I feel like there's a gap in the belief system and the action system that they have. The belief system is telling you, we believe in you, we pouring into you your whole childhood and telling you how great you can be. But they're never putting you in a position to show that greatness, to express that greatness. Or when they do, there's a barrier on it to tell you, hey, this part right here, you don't have enough years for it. You're not grown enough for it, even though you are still a young adult. There's too much focus on the young and not enough focus on the adult. And
I like that.
That's good.
And there has to be change and transition between both. Joy, what were you about to say?
Speaking on the lines of honesty, I think something that I have a problem with is when a young adult wants to use that opportunity to be honest, is looked at as them being disrespectful. So I guess my question is to the group is, how can you express your honesty but not be in a way that they see it as disrespectful? Even though you may feel like you're not coming off as disrespectful, but to them, it's like, you don't respect me as an elder, you don't respect my position in the church. So I think that's a good question to ask.
I believe it's the approach. I believe it's all in the approach. So when I learned that when I start presenting things or I have an idea, that either I need to schedule a legit meeting with the pastor and say, in that meeting, oh, I have this idea, I believe we should do this. And I would even go the extra step to make an email, make a document, make a full-blown list, an organized list, so that when you have this meeting with your pastor, you're completely sure of what you want of them, and that. And so I believe it's like when you're talking about having conversations to develop the young adult presence in the church, it's not one of those after church conversations while the pastor greeting everybody as we leave. It's more so of they need to know that you are serious, because a lot of times that's the issue with well, I want to say it's the issue with pastors, but that's the issue. So they don't take us serious sometimes. And so in order for them to take us serious, we have to show them that we are serious. Even if we believe in our hearts, like, I have a passion for this, I have a passion for the YPD, for the ministry, for the young adult ministry, for RAYAC, for whatever, we have to show them that we are 100% business capable and that we are able to get that work done. Because a lot of times, especially in the AME church, it's so business minded. Like a lot of these pastors are trained up to handle business. So you have to go in there with the same mindset. And just from experience, I've learned that gets things done. When you're not just like, oh, Pastor, let me tell you about this thing that I got to do. Instead, you're like, oh, Pastor, have you checked your email? I emailed you a letter or a list of things or a proposal for what I have an idea about.
Mm-hmm. I saw a comment, Jamal, I saw a comment just a minute ago where it says a lot of times people are not afraid to have the conversation and to talk about the concern, but they don't offer the solution. What are your thoughts about that? There it is. It just came up again. What are y'all's thoughts about that? And I see you, Brian and Desmond.
I do think at the end of the day, millennial season, it does greatest generation, baby boom, it doesn't matter. People just want to be judged by the merit of their actions. I think at the end of the day, and I think it's a little bit harder for young adults because our actions tend to be a little bit more scrutinized in a Black Methodist setting. But I think I totally agree. I'm actually can't wait till we get to the solutions or strategizing part of this conversation because that's kind of what I've been more contemplating. Because, like I said, this is definitely not a new issue, so to speak, as I've mentioned earlier. But and the movie that underscores our conversation today, Beyond the Lights, a very powerful scene in that movie was when the officer Nichols was meeting with the pastors. And the pastors greeted him in a very smug, kind of curt type way. They greeted him with skepticism. He was, why should I support a 26-year-old person? And his response was, I want you to judge me by my actions. I want to prove myself to you. And so I think, that to me was very, again, reminiscent of, here we have a young adult ready. He wants to take on issues of social importance. He had a plan for police brutality. He had a plan for underinvestment in minority communities. And he knew that to get that plan passed and some action on that plan, it took the engagement of the faith community and the Black faith community. And so to me, it's kind of reminiscent of a larger, more categorical divide between Black Lives Matter and civil rights, but that's not really here for us to contemplate that. It's just the issue to me is really just young adults also having a mind to work, as Jeremy likes to capture. Having a mind to work and being willing to be judged by our actions. I don't really want this to become a whole contemplation of, what the church can do for young people, but the young people, we have a responsibility in this as well, to pay our tithes, to be active, to show up, to attend the board meetings, to press those issues. And then at the end of the day, we just want to be judged by our actions.
Yeah. I like that. Go ahead, Desmond.
So key point that I kind of, as I've been listening, that I see pop up across in the comments and across of what everybody said is a fear of change, really. Because in our church, I feel everything has been done on tradition. So we've done it a long, like this way. It has been done this way so long, and it's worked. And so I feel like the people that are maybe in charge now, or that because they've been, especially on the local level, they've been serving in those positions 10, 15, 20 years. And so when they train up a young person who has been influenced by social media and the internet and pop music culture and all that other stuff, they fear change because what's been working so long has been what is all that they've known. And so when a young person steps into a position and offers change and adaptation to the new culture, they kind of feel intimidated, as if, and that's why I can feel, to piggyback off what Joy's response was to the disrespect. They may feel like, well, this has worked for so long. Why do you want to change it? And I can feel like that's where your youth may fall off in some sort.
Thank you, Desmond. I'm going to shift. I want to shift in just a minute, but Jeremy, I see you, and I'd like for you to give your comment, and then we'll begin to shift into the solution piece.
It's so much that crossed my mind, but Brian mentioned having a mind to work, and I am fortunate and blessed at my local church where I have an area to serve, various areas to serve, and I've been fortunate enough to serve on senior boards, continue to serve on senior boards, but that comes with the leadership of the local pastor. Wanting, like Ashley was saying, it starts with at the head of the local church. And so the pastor wanted young adults in certain areas. But I also want to point out, because this is also a problem that I see in local churches, where we start just putting young adults anywhere. Or to be more specific, we see a young adult, oh, hey, we're going to put you here. And Tukes mentioned about your actions, being judged on your actions. When we get to a point where we're not really looking at the actions of the individual, we're just putting them there because, like I said, mentioned earlier, the tokenism, it's a young adult here. Now you're upsetting other young adults who are putting in the work, that are watching on the sidelines like, well, what have they done? What do they do in their life and their work outside of church that qualifies them to serve in this role? Is because they're just a young adult now. We're just putting them there. So when we talk about solutions, I don't want pastors and leaders, because it happens all the time. We'll leave a conference like this, we'll leave a meeting like this, you get back to your local church, and then Susie is now over this organization, over this committee, and it's like, huh? What qualities, what qualifications do they have for this? So when we talk about solutions, I don't want it to be just any and every young adult is not going to serve in these positions. That's not the solution. That's not the answer. You want quality, and like Tukes said, you want to be judged on your actions, and so show yourself approved.
Okay, Brian, and then we'll shift.
I'm fine.
Okay, I think you're ready to shift. Okay, so what I want to do, because I think you bring forth a good segue, Jeremy, into our solution piece, because what I want to do is shift and kind of rewrite the script, so to speak. And what I'm going to do is tell you the themes that I hear. And I want us to begin working as a group to talk about and to create that space where we can be heard, where we can be seen, where we can be active and understood, and be in leadership roles. I want to begin to create that space. And one thing that I found that was interesting in the movie was like in the first 15 minutes of the movie, and I wish that I could have shown y'all that piece, but in the first 15 minutes of the movie, after Noni attempts suicide, the police officer and the two police officers are standing outside, and one of the police officers offers the other police officer a check for $10,000. And he said, I don't want to take the check because she's going to tell the lie that it was a mistake, that she was drunk and she made a mistake and fell off the balcony when she really attempted suicide. And the older officer said something very profound. He said, she's written her script, she's playing her part, and so are we. And so I want to focus on that as we go into the solution piece, because there is a script from what I'm hearing and all of the themes and the things that you're saying that we've been talking about for a while, not just in this conversation, but in other conversations. The script has been written. Our churches have written a script. And we've been playing that part as the token person, as the person that stands in when they need a youth or a young adult. We play the part based on the script that has been written for us. So how are we to rewrite the script? How are we to rewrite the script? How are we to create the space? Who do we bring in? Who do we talk to? Who do we collaborate with? How do we create the space and rewrite the script?
I think success comes before confidence. So I think to me, when you talk about solutions, rewriting the script, you have to find where the success is. There are churches and local churches that have thriving young adult engagement. I mean, there just are. And I think bringing those churches to the table, or those leaders of those organizations to the table to come up with more aggregate ideas, so to speak. But I think you have to find where you have to kind of take inventory of where things are working. There are active young adult ministries that are thriving, that are doing well. Go study them, learn from them, convene them together. I can think of Big Bethel Thrives is one, and there are a few others, that come to mind. And so it really starts with just finding where those pockets of success are, finding where we are having successful young adult ministries and what they're doing and how that can be replicated, how that can be streamlined across conferences and even Episcopal districts. We have the existing infrastructure, as I mentioned. We have YPD, we have RAYAC, we have young adult representatives, and YAR is part of the lay. I mean, so there's finding where that success is and then incorporating it to existing infrastructures, I think, is a starting point. I mean, just bringing those who kind of have done the work, so to speak, to the table and finding ways to replicate their success.
I like that, Brian. And one thing I do like that in that we look at other models of success and try to incorporate those principles into what we have. But I also like the fact that the conversation that we've had has been so fruitful that we already know what we need. And I think it's interesting because I think that the models that we look at for successful engagement are models based on the needs of those within the system. And so here we are, and we're talking, and I'm hearing themes of things that you know that you need, that we can also start implementing, not only looking at outside organizations and what they're implementing, but what is being implemented right here. For example, just even creating a plan or a model of some principles that we can share with our local churches, well, with our bishop and with our local churches that can begin the conversation. I heard things like shadowing. I heard things like starting with the pastor in the local church. I heard things like open communication. I think that we can begin right here working with those themes and creating something to take back to our bishop and our local churches that may make a difference as well. Jeremy, go ahead.
Brian mentioned one of the ministries. He mentioned a ministry. I'll just say that that is very successful today. And I want to point out from what I know, and I'm not a member of that church, but it started out with, and the comment just scrolled on the screen. It started with investment. The pastor and the congregation invested in that ministry in the beginning. And then after they invested in that ministry, they backed off. That is a young adult led ministry with very little involvement of the pastor and the congregation in terms of older people. And so, and that person wasn't an AME. It was just someone who had a mind to work. The pastor saw that, put them in charge of it. They invested. As I understand it, the board for that organization or that ministry, they're all young, they're all college students, and they run it themselves, and the church backs them up. And so it goes back to my original point about investing. So the pastor invested, the congregation invested, and guess what? It's now a budget item for that congregation. And so they're continuously investing on that ministry. And when you see the churches report every annual conference, it's like, wow. And everyone's trying to figure out, well, how can we do that? Anyone can do it, but it starts with the initial investment and having that mindset for youth and young adults in your congregation.
Okay. So investment, intentionality, because it sounds like they were very intentional about backing off and letting them lead. What else?
I see a comment and it says that they kept trying even when it didn't work at first. And I think that's very important. There are times when people, they come with these great ideas, and when it doesn't work in the way that they saw fit in the beginning, it's not what they envisioned, then they quit on it. And then the idea that could have gone so far and could have been so instrumental and influential in incorporating young adults, but when it doesn't get that initial reaction from the church or from other young adults, then they back off of it. And then now there's nothing for the young adults to do.
I like that.
I wanted to piggyback on something Jeremy said about local church, kind of building it into the local church. If anything, leadership has taught me what gets measured gets done. And so if to me, a great suggestion would be to incorporate youth engagement into local church reporting. I don't know how the report sheets really are structured per se, but if it was a line item to include demographics or age demographics of the local church, so that the bishop and the elders and the leadership sector of the church can see growth or can see decline. I was just thinking incorporating some type of metric into the local church annual reporting form or sheet that specifically deals with whatever you want to define as youth and young adult. But I think that will go a long way as far as making sure the attention stays, the investment is there, because what gets measured gets done. We hold our leadership in this church accountable to reporting. We are an Episcopalian church, so by governance, we report as function. And so I think if we can find ways to build into local church reporting youth engagement, whether it just be the number of youth that are active on the roll, below 35, whether it be the number of active youth ministries, something to just spur the reporting and to spur the attention and investment at the local level, I think goes a long way, because what gets measured gets done. And everyone wants to have a great report. Everyone wants to have a good showing and a good representation of the work that they've done, but actually making it a line item, making it a report item in that local church reporting every year, and giving it the follow-up and the attention. I mean, you have to be meticulous and methodical about it, because you set a baseline. You see young adult, that will give you a baseline, and that'll see, all right, my youth engagement is growing, my youth engagement is not growing. But it just, at the end of the day, I think a strategy that's just really easy to incorporate is we need to, I guess, do a better job of reporting the number of youth under 35 or under whatever age set forth that are active, and continue to follow that number.
I agree. I agree with Brian with that, and what I hear that he's saying is basically what we probably all go through. We probably go through this on our jobs. I know being a teacher, we go through this. It's let's be evaluated. There should be a system set up where there's maybe a pre-evaluation of the year and a post at the end of the year regarding the age group that we're talking about, and not because I know on the annual reports we report, oh, have this number of youth, we have this number of youth. However, what is the consensus of that youth? What is the evaluation that is? And I feel like everything stems from our local churches. And I'm going to keep getting back on that. What are we evaluating that our pastors and our local ministries and our heads of these steward boards, what are they doing to foster this 35 and under or 35 and up or whatever the age group may be? What are we doing to foster that? And if we can come up with some type of evaluation, because I've been AME for a long, long time, and I don't ever remember there being any type of evaluation tool to actually help our leaders grow in the church so that they can really see, okay, this is what's hurting our youth. This is what's helping our youth. What do our youth really feel? And I feel like the local leaders, pastors really have to look at those evaluation pieces if they want grow. And that's what evaluation is for. Let me see where we are, and I need to see where we're going to get there to make those necessary changes. So I totally agree with Brian and everything else people have said about, let's be more conscious, evaluated on of this group that we're trying so hard to save.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Jeremy, I see you rocking.
Because this is burning me up. Brian mentioned reporting, and I want to try to make that live a little bit better, a little clearer for everyone with an example. At one time in the district, the focus was on the CDMC, the Christian Debutante Masters Commission for the district. And so during that tenure for that leadership, at every annual conference, the question was asked, you know, how many youth and young adults do you have involved in the Christian Debutante Commission, Masters Commission? And so that pastor had to answer the question. You know, the first year, you know, it was quite interesting because, you know, the focus wasn't, it wasn't a district-wide effort to have youth and young adults from every church involved in that component of the church. And so that second year, you best believe pastors came with numbers saying that, yes, oh, yes, Bishop, we have X, Y, and Z involved in the Christian Debutante Masters Commission. So in the AME church, we have this trickle-down leadership effect. Everything comes from the connection or the general conference, and it trickles down to the local church. So if even at the district level, if talking about reporting, if we're asking the question, you know, do you have an organized young adult ministry, whether that's Richard Allen Young Adult Council or some type of young adult ministry? Do you have an active young adult ministry in your church? If that becomes a question for the annual conference, you might see some slight increase in numbers in these local churches, because now it's a question that the bishop is asking of the pastor on the floor of the annual conference that pastor has to answer every year. And so I think if we are serious about, you know, we put this together today, but if we are serious and intentional, and I know we're talking about solutions about wanting to increase the youth and young adult numbers or activity in the 6th Episcopal District, I think it should start there with reporting at our annual conferences, asking those pastors, do you have an active youth and young adult ministry? We have churches now every year, no, we don't have YPD, and they're fine with that. And so, I mean, every year they report the same thing. No, we don't have any. We don't have an active youth ministry. And so if we're intentional about it, we're going to start asking those questions at the annual conference level. And I guarantee we'll see a difference in our local churches.
Yes. And if I could add something, I think not only when we ask those questions of do you have an active youth or young adult organization, but being intentional about the youth and young adult organizations that you are fostering. Like, because we don't want to just say that we have a YPD, but then there's no work coming from the YPD. So being intentional and making sure that the organizations that we say that we're reporting on are being sustainable as well.
Good stuff. Anything else, Amber? What are you thinking about over there?
I'm just reading some of these comments that they're making. I just recently saw one that says, in some areas, some children grow up and never come back. And it's sad, but it's very true. But to add on what everyone's been saying, especially very recently about the metrics and the need to report, it really has to be a place where we're coming from intentionally, where we foster the YPD and other programs that have been highlighted before. I completely agree with Jeremy, where we give one program this really high pedestal because it's been lacking, and the pastors stand and they work very hard just for that one program, but it's not necessarily spread across the board. We have so many, like Brian's been saying the entire time, we have infrastructure already in place that's just not really being used appropriately. Well, it's not being used in a way that necessarily gives us the benefits that we're looking for as far as bringing the youth into the church in a way where they feel like they're being heard and seen and utilized properly. So it's taking all of these ideas that we've been putting out the entire session and using them together in a way that works effectively for us.
Thank you, Amber, because you said a lot of good things, especially in the youth and young adults that do come in, taking some time maybe to understand what they're interested in, what their gifts are. It goes back to the evaluation piece a little bit, and seeing where they are and how we can incorporate them in a system of youth engagement. I also appreciate you reading the comments, because we are going to shift in a few minutes, and I want to begin, well, we can actually shift now. I want to take a few minutes to actually look at the comments that are being given, because we have some amazing people watching and giving some really, really good comments. And so, Amber, Joy, if you would take a look at the comments, or everyone, if you would take a look at the comments that you see right now, and the comments that you have seen that that you'd like to respond to, because there have been many people who are seeking response, who have asked questions and so forth, and I would love to address many of those questions. The first question I see is that many pastors don't have any young adults and don't know where to start. What's the solution to that? And that's a multi-layered question. You almost don't know where to start with the answer. But we can begin entertaining a solution to that question.
I mean, as basic as it may sound, I'm just a firm believer in keeping things simple. Outreach. Any church that I've been to lately is because the pastor themselves invited me to come. I think a lot of misinvestment, or disinvestment rather, is placed into social media outreach. With young people thinking that while it is an attention trap, it's more of an attention drain, and it doesn't. At the end of the day, your post only becomes 3 seconds, which is a part of my life. Whereas you picking up the phone, calling me, directly. It's basic, it's traditional as it sounds. Outreach is imperative, and also I would suggest partnering with churches that do, or areas that do have local churches. I think millennials are a very social generation. Brunch is sacred. Protests are sacred places. Creating spaces of creating businesses and creating nonprofits. Millennials are very open in their definition of sacred spaces. The church is not necessarily the sacred space for a millennial. Anybody that knows me knows that I believe in a brunch. So, bring the church to brunch, or bring brunch to the church. Finding those things those settings that millennials may hold sacred. I think Bishop Jackson has done an excellent job of social justice mobilization and voter registration. Those are things that inspire millennials. The church used to be this kind of pseudo social organization, but millennials don't aspire to that. They aspire to social settings. They want to be outdoors. Even the spatial setup of our churches. A lot of our churches have steeples. Millennials prefer a more open, spatial worship atmosphere. So I think the solution, as basic as it may sound, it still has an element of profundity to it, because if you outreach at places where the millennials are likely to be, again, we're very socially driven generation. We're gonna be at brunch. We're gonna be, at a protest. We're gonna be at places like the gathering spot, or places where of network and of upward mobility, where we can find that or whatnot. So I think that finding those areas where millennials are, and then just engaging outreach in those areas is paramount.
I like what you said, Brian, that outreach is not just social media, because you feel like social media is the way to attract millennials and young adults. That a lot of millennials like a more personable outreach. Call me on the phone, talk to me. I like that. Thank you for that. Anyone else a response to that question?
Yes, I have a response to that question. And Brian, I agree with you on a lot of things that you said. As far as I feel like, I keep going back to leadership, because I feel like everything stems from your leadership and your head, especially of that local area. And I feel like pastors can't be afraid to collaborate with each other in our districts, to say, hey, what are y'all doing over there? I see that y'all have youth, and I see that your youth is growing, and we're kind of lagging. What are you doing? And not be afraid to collaborate with each other. And a lot, so to say, oh, I don't want my church to be ahead of that church, or it's a lot of that goes on. The collaboration and coming together and not being a competition, but it's really about the pastor and the congregation understanding that they're disciples. And they're disciples, and they're supposed to be winning souls. And we have to go into those areas, if it's brunch, if it's the gathering, or a protest, or anywhere we can go to find the souls. They are there. And for the churches that have no youth, they're not going to come in. We're going to have to take this thing out of these walls, and we're going to have to go find them. And then I feel like that's something that pastors and congregations actively have to do. We have to put it in our mind, and we have to say, this is a problem in our church. What are we going to do about it? We're a unit. So the leadership essentially starts with the pastor, then the congregation. We have to get that congregation, who can sometimes, be stubborn. We have to get them on board to say, we are disciples, we have work to do, and we need to go into these places where the youth are. And let's not be scared. It's simple conversation. Hey, what are y'all doing? You want to come, hang out with us, or you want to come here? Here are some music we got going, something that draws them in. But again, it starts at that local level, because the more we build our local churches, the more we build the local youth in the churches, then the more we're going to grow as a whole AME organization. So again, just going out, understanding that this is discipleship, and we can't get laxed in just holding these positions. We actually have to work in them. And it is a job. I tell people all the time, I feel like I don't have a day off other than maybe Saturday, because Sunday it's enjoyable and I love worship, but it's work. And I feel like I'm going with the mindset of, I know what I'm doing. I know what work we have to do. I know what we're trying to get to. So it is work, and the work has to be mindful and just important to everybody that's a part of that church.
Thank you, Ashley. Errenous?
Yes, I wanted to go off of what Ashley was saying about like the churches communicating with each other, because we are a connectional church, but in some situations there's no use of those connections. Like she was saying, that we're seeing other churches grow in their youth, developing and prospering, while other churches are lacking. And there's a comment that says that the collaboration must replace the competition, because somebody's youth department may be larger or maybe more can't think of a better word, but powerful than another. But people are taking that as something that they can showcase for themselves as, look what I did, look what my church is doing. But that's not what this is about. This is all about for the glory and the upbuild of the kingdom for God. And I think that that is a part that needs to be more focused on, because it's becoming a lot more of a personal thing. But if we want to grow and if we want to better ourselves, there has to be more of a connection and more of an understanding that everything that we do and everything that we should be doing should be leading us in the path of glory to the Lord.
Thank you, Errenous. Gamal and Jeremy, I saw you unmute and then go back. Did you have something to comment?
Yeah. So for me, earlier when we were talking about accountability for young adults, like, you know what I'm saying, like Brian said earlier, we have to, you know, go to that brunch, go to that protest. But I think a lot of times as young adults, we're scared, and honestly, I know we don't want to hear it, but sometimes we're lazy. So we want to say, "Oh, hey, I have this position in the church, but I'm going to sit in my bed on Sunday and just share this post, share this post, share that post." But we have to go. I believe that we have to go back to the traditional way and go to the streets. We have to, you know, go out and show ourselves. We have to, like Ashley said, leave the four walls. We can't be scared. We have to be accountable in that area as well. We can't only be accountable in tithing and only be accountable in showing up. We have to be accountable in the actual ministry of the church. The ministry is where we actually go out. We can't just minister to each other. We can't only have this conversation and talk to each other. We all grew up in the church. We have to go outside of this realm and actually reach out to people that's not in this, because we want them to be a part. So we can't be scared to do that.
Yeah, church engagement and community engagement.
Absolutely.
Jeremy?
I wanted to touch on one thing Brian said and something and Ashley was really keying in on. I don't want any pastor to leave this conversation or any church member to go out and renovate their church. You do not have to go out there and go back and put your church in debt and still have the same congregation that you had before you renovated. You don't have to do that. Because for me, I've always preached this. It goes back to relationship building. And as Ashley stated, that the congregation, we are disciples as well. We're supposed to go out and get the sheep get sheep. For me and my church, a lot of the times, the question is, I'll say it this way. What do you do when young people or anyone comes to your church and visits? What do you do? What is your congregation's reaction? Do they just look at them and say, "Oh, this must be a visitor," and then go on about their day? Or do they engage in conversation with that visitor? When young people come to our church, me and my family, me and my mom, we try to engage that person. We say, "Hey, what are you doing after church?" Because my mother cooks on Sundays. And so we have several people from different churches that come to my house, my mother's house, on Sunday afternoons on any given Sunday, pre-COVID. And so I would say, what are you doing at the church? You want to come over for dinner, especially for a college student, a home cooked meal. Why don't you come on over? We'll drive you. We'll somebody get you back to campus, somebody get you back to where you live. Just come on over, because we live about 30 minutes away from the church. So it's a nice commute. And so they would come over for dinner. Next thing you know, they're over for a Super Bowl party. Next thing you know, they're over for 4th of July. So are you building relationships with youth and young adults that come to your church? A lot of times we feel that my church is traditional, it's a traditional building. They don't want to come there. At the end of the day, young people can get past the traditional things that you do in your church. You don't really have to change your worship experience so much that the people that are there don't recognize the worship experience anymore. If you build relationships with people and they have a connection to you, they will want to come there, regardless of what's going on in the church. If they have a connection with you, they're more obligated to go here than to go somewhere they don't know anybody. And so a lot of times, we get content with that. will say, well, you know, for instance, this church has a lot going on, but this lady at this church, she really looked after me. She made sure I had a ride to the airport when it's time to move off campus. She made sure I had a meal. She checked on me every few days throughout the week to make sure I was okay. These educators in this church really helped me get through this term. Are we building relationships with people? And that goes beyond youth and young adults. That goes to just building your congregation in general. Are you building relationships with people? Because I'll choose a relationship over anything when it comes to different churches. If I have a relationship, that's what keeps me at my church. I don't want to go nowhere and start all over again. The relationships that I have built these 30 years at my church don't compare to anything else. And so it goes back to relationship building.
Jeremy, I think that you really made concrete a point that I mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, that it really is about relationships. A lot of times we have a conversation and we say, well, hey, we got to do all these programs and we got to do all these things because we got to get our youth and young adults back. And the fact of the matter is we never really had the youth and young adults, even when they were there, because they were there up until a point where they could leave because there were no relationships to keep them connected and keep them there. When they were able to drive, when they were able to go to college, they went somewhere else where they where they engaged in a relationship, where they created good quality relationships with folks. And so, as you mentioned, is you don't have to put TVs up in your church. You ain't gotta, you don't have to do all this big innovative stuff. And Brian, you mentioned the same thing, but it's about outreach. Call me. It's about relationships. Talk to me. Be interested in what's going on with me. Developing those, being very intentional and investing in those relationships are very, very important. And if any pastor would leave this conversation today, I think that would be one of the biggest points, is investing and being intentional about relationship building. Anyone else? Are there any? Jamal, I see you, and then we're going to move to a couple more comments. Go ahead, Jamal.
I think another big key thing with building relationships is having consistency. Because a lot of times we say, oh, we have some young adults here. And in my case, I'm the youth minister in my church. So when I see a child and their parent, I automatically go up to them, start talking to them and seeing what's going on with them. Like, how's your son? How's your daughter? Well, we have the youth ministry here, so come and join us one day. And even if they don't come and join us the next Sunday, that next Sunday, I'm still going to them and talking to them. Like, we have to be consistent. We can't do it one Sunday and then don't do it anymore. We can't say, oh, we're relationship building today, but then next Sunday act like we don't see the people. We have to be consistent. I believe that's a big part of relationship building and trying to draw more people and outreach and everything. Consistency.
Yeah, and so that also means that relationship building needs to be authentic and just not something that we take on as a project, and when we get tired of it, we drop it and move to the next new thing, right?
Exactly. And it's not, and the thing is, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's going to be hard. Everybody is not prepared to listen to what you have to say yet. So that's why you have to be consistent. You can't stop. You can't quit.
It's work. It's a lot of work. We have about 6 minutes. And what I'd like to do, this has been an awesome conversation. And it looks like we didn't get to every comment, but we can go back to the comments and kind of work through them as we go and consider those comments that those who are viewing have posted. But what I want to do in the last few minutes is I want to take a moment for each of you to have the opportunity to say what the big picture is that we've talked about so much in this almost 90-minute time period. But if I could leave this conversation with anything, that key thing from you what would that big picture thing be? What would be that key thing that I would want you to hear and walk away with after this conversation? Joy, I'm going to start with you, but I just want you, and we'll go one by one, but I just want you to share that key point, and many of you have shared it, but share that key point, that big picture, that thing that you want everybody to walk away with after this conversation.
Yeah, so just three quick points. Just be open, be intentional, and be consistent in whatever you do as it relates, either if you're on the young adult side or whether you're on those in leadership side. Just be open, be intentional, and be consistent.
Okay. Thank you, Joy. Desmond?
Thing, just being consistent and being available to everybody, to anybody and anything you are doing. Just go about it with all your heart and 110%, and that's basically it.
Brian?
I would just say that young adults need a space in the church to see themselves as leaders, and that this is a great opportunity for the church to take what has been said, take inventory of what's all been stated, and transform them into actionable items. I think to stem the exodus of young adults in the church. Help nurture our leadership. We want to be, again, judged by the merit of our actions. Strengthen those pipelines in the church, those handoffs in the church cross organizationally, and just continue to be open and receptive to the gifts and the talents that young adults do bring to the table. And lastly, and most importantly, investment in young adults. I think it'll be a great return.
Ashley?
I think with everything that has been said, the biggest thing is, for me, is focusing on what we're doing in the local churches, focusing on the leadership of those churches, and actually binding the leadership and the congregation together so that we all can become disciples to keep youth at the church, but also to increase youth and bring them into the church. So all of this is work. And that's what I think people forget to understand. It's all work, it's all collaboration, and it's all really showing love and really showing that bridge between church and community.
Jeremy?
You are the thinker that thinks the thought that creates the thing. If you change your thoughts, you'll change your world. And if we really and truly change our mindset on youth and young adults, from the local level to the Episcopal level, all the way up to the Connectional General Conference level, if we change our thoughts as how we look at youth and young adults, if we just step back, stop judging them, stop judging who they associate with, and really just value them for who they are and what they mean to our Zion, because they are the future. They are not even just the future. They are the church of now, the church of today. And so if we change our mindset on them, we step back and allow them to do their thing and let God have his way, we'll be all right.
Errenous?
I would say for me, the biggest takeaway would be that there needs to be a separation of capability and age, because just because I'm younger than you and I'm not as seasoned as you are does not mean that I don't share the same capabilities to put my best foot forward to add to the growth and progression of the church as a whole. And I think when the more mature members of the church come forth to accept that there will be a greater change. A change in mindset will create a change in the product.
Amber?
Just that we need to continue to cultivate an environment that's welcoming to the youth, that makes them once again feel heard. And we need to honestly take inventory of what it is that our churches are doing and continue to have conversations like this so that we know that we're moving in a progressive way.
Gamal? Gamal, can you hear me?
I'm sorry.
No problem.
So my takeaway is that we need consistency, we need training, and we need accountability. And also, this is not happening overnight. So we're not leaving this conversation with the verdict. We're leaving with progression. We're leaving with growth. But we have to continue to have this conversation.
Okay. Thank you all so much. This has been a very fruitful conversation, and I agree with you that more conversations must be had simply because it doesn't happen overnight. But at least we have come and put an etch in the stone that we're at the beginning. And I'm grateful to all of you who are viewing us right now, all of you who are participated in our dialogue today. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you because this has been amazing. Please be assured that all of the words and all of the things that have been said, be assured that they will not go to waste, that they will be used, and there will be another conversation, another fruitful conversation in which we can keep going as we grow our church and grow in our engagement. Thank you all so much. I invite you, it's 11:30 right now. I invite you to take a 5-minute break. Come back, everybody, at 11:35, and we are going to have some fun and games with Pastor Kenitras Houston, who just got on with us. Amen. And so get ready. Take 5 minutes. Get ready to come back and enjoy our next session. Thank you all so much. God bless you, and I love every one of y'all. Have a good one.
Great sermon, Pastor C.
Thank you.
Did she preach? Did she preach?
Pastor C, how are you?
I am well. I am well.
Good. I echo. Very good sermon yesterday. I enjoyed it.
Praise God. Thank you.
I'm going to sit, but I'm not going to bother you and take a 5-minute break.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm excited to be with you today for this goose chase. So as Dr. Cynthia said, take that little break, stretch your legs, stretch your arms, and spread the word that it's about to go down. Today, we are introducing a virtual competition among the conferences. So if some YPDers that you know are not online right now, you want to get them online right now. We are about to have a major competition among conferences. There are going to be slots for 8 YPDers to represent your conference. Each team, so all 6 conferences will be represented in this competition. We're going to have a good time. And you know what? There are prizes. Listen, so y'all get ready for this. I'm excited. I'm going to pop music here just to kind of give us a moment to prepare. But we are excited about what we are about to do. And so get your friends, tell them, get ready, get ready, get ready. Hey, everybody. Y'all come on in, come on in. We're about to have a competition. Hey, Sister Sandra. All right, everybody. It is 11:36. It's time to get to work. All right, so I need some YPDers out there who are ready for a competition. Again, there will be prizes. And so we are encouraging you to participate in the 6th Episcopal District YPD Goose Chase. All right, the instructions are now on your screen. Get ready, get ready. All right. Let's see. Let me get you these instructions. And you want to get your phones out. You're going to need your device. You're going to need your phone. All right. And the instructions will come on your screen in just a second. We want you to get on your Google Play Store or your Apple App Store. You're going to download Goose Chase. All one word, Goose Chase. Okay. Once you download the app, give me some thumbs up to let me know that you got that app downloaded. Again, the first 8 people per conference who join their conference team will represent their conference in the YPD, AME, SED, YPD Goose Chase. All right, so y'all give me some thumbs up. Let me know that you're out there. All right, and that you are ready. Let me get my display here so that I can see your thumbs up. Hey, Denisha, I see Denisha just joined us. Let's get ready. All right, so you're downloading Goose Chase. Download Goose Chase in your Google Play Store or in your Apple App Store, all right? Thank you so much, Sister Hall. God bless you. All right, once you download Goose Chase in your App Store, then you are going to search for our game, all right? So that information is coming up. The name of our game is SEDYPD, one word, Chase. SEDYPD, Chase. So when you go in your Google Play Store or your Apple App Store, you download Goose Chase. Once you download Goose Chase, you want to look for our game. And you don't have to set up an account. You can play as a guest. It's up to you. But whoever is in the game, we will make sure that we get information from the winners to ensure that we are able to send you your prizes. This is a competition. Let's get ready. All right, so once you All right, so once you get in there, you are going to see SEDYPD Chase, okay? Download that game, and you're gonna look for your team, join your team. Again, first come, first serve in our group chase. So we take the first 8 people who want to join the game to represent their teams. We have a team for Atlanta North YPD. We have a team for Augusta, Georgia YPD. We have a team for Georgia Conference YPD, Macon, Georgia YPD, South Georgia YPD, and Southwest Georgia YPD. All right, so I hope you're on your phones, downloading Goose Chase, joining the game, which is SCDYPD Chase, and then joining your team. All right, join your team. When you attempt to join the team, it's going to tell you that you have to put in a password. All right. In order to put in that the password for our game is FD Legacy. So Founders Day Legacy. Again, your password is FD Legacy. All right, y'all, let's get to work. Join in the fun. I'm waiting on people to join teams. Call your friends, call your fellow YPDers, and get them started. All right, let's go, let's go, let's join. Let's join. Let's join, let's join, let's join. All right, I see some hearts coming. Once you've joined your team, you put in your password for FD Legacy. The first 8 people per conference will be able to join the team to represent their conference. All right. I want you to represent your conference out here. And I am going to start the game. As you begin to compete and complete the missions on Goose Chase, we will actually showcase them live. So everyone who's watching will be able to see your submissions of your missions. So Goose Chase, we have 20 custom missions for you to complete today as a conference. Again, 8 people per conference, per team, per conference team. All right. So all the conferences are out there. Again, the password for our game is FD Legacy. You will find our game listed as SEDYPD Chase. SEDYPD, all one word, and then the word Chase. All right. So jump on out there, and I am starting the game now. Let's begin our Goose Chase. All right. We are moving. We're moving in our goose chase. And so I see Southwest Georgia dropping in some images and the goose chase. Y'all, you better get started. Southwest is on the board. All right. And so let me get a Southwest Conference shout out. Elder McFadden, Reverend McFadden, the password for goose chase is FD Legacy. All one word. FD Legacy. All right, so y'all come on. Where is Southwest Georgia? Is Southwest Georgia in the house? Where is Southwest Conference? I'm about to share some of the goose chase that's coming out. Listen, they are out there. They are moving. Y'all better get started. The Southwest Conference is already out here making it happen. I see Atlanta North coming too. All right, y'all get ready. All right, so the completed mission so far, Southwest Georgia has completed the mission of a flashback to Founders Day. Look at the Southwest Georgia. Southwest Georgia already has 400 points on the board. Yeah, where's Southwest Georgia? Y'all throw some hearts up on the screen. Throw some hearts on the screen if you are from the Southwest Georgia Conference. All right, they have 400 points on the board for completing this mission of taking a photo of a past Founders Day experience. Let me see. I see Sister Donna Chambers on that picture. All right, shout out to Southwest Georgia Director, Sister Donna Chambers. Good job, Southwest Georgia. Let's see. Who else is on the board? Atlanta North is on the board. Book club mission. Atlanta North has 500 points. Atlanta North, are you out there? Throw some hearts on the screen and let me know you out there. Atlanta North just pulled up. Oh, it's Trey. Okay. Trey is representing on today. Yes, Trey Thomas, Pastor Will Thomas's son, is giving 500 points for Atlanta North Georgia Conference. Take a photo of a team member reading a book. So right now, Atlanta North is in the lead. Where's South Georgia? Where's Macon? Where's Augusta? Come on, y'all. We're looking for you. Let's see who else is on the board. Oh, Atlanta North. 400, another 400 points. Definition, please. Find the definition of founder in a dictionary. All right, Atlanta North. It's Founders Day, y'all. Somebody put in the comments, it's Founders Day. And so as we celebrate Founders Day, one of the missions was to define founder in the dictionary. All right, good job, Atlanta North YPD. 900 points on the board. Listen, let's go. It's a 30-minute competition. Who's gonna win? All right, I see Southwest checking in, Reverend Carolyn Biggers. I see South Georgia checking in with Brother Andrews Calvin. All right, who else is on the board? That's all we got. So right now on the leaderboard, we have in first place, we got more points than I realized. In first place right now, we have Southwest Georgia leading in first place with 2,200 points. We've got Atlanta North Georgia in second place with 1,300 points. And the South Georgia YPD in third place with 800 points. Augusta, Georgia, and Macon, get on the board. Somebody get on the phone and say, get on the board. Augusta, Georgia, and Macon, your conferences are not represented. Come on, get your missions in. I see Reverend Don Ezell of Turner saying Atlanta North all day. Oh my gosh, the preachers are pushing us. Let's go. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, y'all ready? Let's check them out. Beautiful Mind submission. We've got 2 submissions for Beautiful Mind. All right. So Atlanta, North Georgia. Oh, let's see what they have for a Beautiful Mind. Beautiful Mind, present your favorite scripture on a chalkboard. All right, Atlanta North YPD, I see you out there where I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Yeah. All right, Atlanta North. Y'all racking it up. That's a 400-point mission. All right, I see you, Southwest Georgia YPD in the house. Who else? Mount Zion, Greater Mount Zion, YPD of Waycross. Hey, y'all. Hey, Georgia Conference. Come on. Get on the board, Georgia. Get on the board. Larry Irvin III. I see you checking in from Atlanta North. All right. Come on, y'all. Check in. All right. 400 points for this good scripture. I can do all things on the chalkboard. All right. I wonder who did that. All right. South Georgia. What you have? Our beautiful mind, South Georgia. We've got, present your favorite scripture on a chalkboard or window. South Georgia, I gotta tilt my head to read your scripture. I gotta tilt my head. I gotta turn. So South Georgia, that's 400 points. But I'm gonna deduct 50 points. Oh no, she's rough. South Georgia, I've got to deduct 50 points. I gotta turn my head to see your scripture. So I think your scripture is Romans 14, verse 1. Except the one whose faith is weak without quarreling over disputable matters. All right, so you can't get your full 400 points because the game show host cannot read it. All right, come on, let's go. James Alexander, I see you out there saying, what's up, Atlanta North? Y'all throw some hearts on the screen. Come on, get your young people out here. South Georgia, brilliant. All right, what does South Georgia have? South Georgia has snap a shot of a teammate standing under a light bulb as if they're coming up with a brilliant idea. All right, South Georgia, I'm going to give you that one. You're not really under the light bulb, but I just took points from you, so I ain't going to take no more. All right. Shout out to South Georgia. All right. Let's see what we have next. Okay. All right. Come on, y'all. All right, so South Georgia, you are on the board. All right. Who else is out here? Oh, I see one of our YPD leaders in Southwest Georgia. Southwest Georgia for brilliant. I see Denisha Chambers. I call her Red, y'all. Y'all see Denisha Chambers is snapping a picture, a shot of a teammate standing under the light bulb as if she came up with a brilliant idea. South, I promise not to take points away from you, but Southwest Georgia came up with the realness, y'all. Y'all see her? She is under the light bulb. So I'm going to give a bonus 50 points. I'm going to give a bonus 50 points. Yeah, thank y'all. Come on, y'all got to keep me high. All right, so I add the bonus 50 points to Southwest Georgia. Shout out to Denisha Chambers, one of our YPD leaders, for getting under the light bulb and having a great idea. Yes. All right, who is this? Southwest Georgia. All right, Southwest Georgia is in the house. Make a tower of pennies at least 30 high. Uh-oh, where is the team member? The team member must be in the picture. Oh, Southwest Georgia. Oh no. You just lost 200 points for not following the Goose Chase rules. Yeah, penalty applied. Come on, Georgia Conference. You got a cheering squad online. All right. Who else? Okay. Yvonne Emmons said, come on, South Georgia. All right. So we checking out Southwest. Southwest gave us the founder definition. Yes, for Founders Day. It's Founders Day. Yes. All right. In fact, we already saw this one, the flashback. Go ahead, Southwest. Uh-oh. Y'all, Southwest is on it. Southwest Georgia, ketchup, mustard, and relish. Take a photo of condiment packets from at least 5 different restaurants. Look at Southwest Georgia, y'all. Okay, I see ketchup. Who has that kind of ketchup that you peel open? Is that Chick-fil-A? That's Chick-fil-A. All right. Then you got Checkers honey mustard. You got somebody's hot sauce. You got Waffle House syrup. And then you got Chick-fil-A Polynesian sauce. Uh-oh. Southwest, if the ketchup is from Chick-fil-A and the Polynesian sauce is from Chick-fil-A, I may have to deduct points. What do you think, audience? Talk back to me. Come on, y'all got to help me vote. So we're going to come back to this. The question is the ketchup from Chick-fil-A and the Polynesian sauce from Chick-fil-A? Southwest in the house. Am I deducting any points? Come on, y'all. Y'all out here and anybody, my home coaches, what y'all think?
5 different restaurants.
It says 5 different restaurants.
But the different restaurants could be 2 different Chick-fil-A's.
Oh, so my behind the scenes coaches.
Could have been 2 different Chick-fil-A's.
Does anybody else have ketchup like that?
You say different types of restaurants. You say different restaurants.
Uh-oh.
Be
So,
specific in your word, nigga.
oh.
Write the vision, make it plain.
Uh-oh, Southwest Georgia talking said someone else uses ketchup like that also. That's true. All right. So I got Mr. Gamal from Trinity AME Church here in the 6th District in Atlanta, Georgia Conference as one of my in-house co-judges. Mr. Jamal, won't you wave your hands at him? There he is. And then, y'all, all the way from the 2nd District, I have Mr. Roderick Smith, who's the youth director in the 2nd District, helping me. All right, so those are my behind the scenes helping me with the judging. And so Southwest, you got all your points. And just for me giving you a hard time, I got to give you 50 points as a bonus because I was giving you a hard time. All right, y'all, I'm having a good time. Okay, Erica Harper said Wendy's does that same ketchup. Okay. All right, so I gave, all right, popular opinion, my bad. I gave a bonus. Now that's a Bible. Y'all, Southwest Georgia, now that's a Bible. Bible, take a picture with biggest Bible gets 500 bonus points. I don't think that's the biggest Bible I'm going to see today. That's a good one though, Southwest. Southwest got another 500 points. All right, okay, that's a Bible, but I don't think that is a big Bible. But that is a Bible. Now that's a Bible. Oh, thank you, Southwest Georgia Conference. Y'all like me because I gave y'all them bonus. Jamal, this is Mama Donna. All right. Hey, all right, Southwest, PPE. PPE is in the house. Take a photo of your team wearing a mask and other PPE, and you got to complete, Southwest Georgia, you have to complete at least 2 more missions with PPE on. Huh? Oh, somebody back there. I think that's Eva back there without PPE. Y'all know I used to serve with. You know, all right. We moving. What are y'all saying to me out here? That is, Gabe. Now that's the Bible. All right, what a year. Somebody telling the truth, y'all. Take a picture of what you really look like attending virtual worship in 2020. Yeah, that's the truth, in your whole pajamas. You know what? I got to give you 50 extra points for that. I got to give you 50 extra points because that's the truth. Y'all are not fooling your pastors. We know that you are not dressed in church. We know it. Especially, okay, listen, my Facebook feed, y'all getting a little dry on me. I need hearts to give me energy. I need your hearts. I need your love. Atlanta North, what's up? Y'all out there, Atlanta North, put some hearts on the screen. Talk back to me. Where you at? All right, Southwest Georgia, we've reviewed all of your submissions so far. Let's look at another team. Who do we have? Atlanta North is up to 1,700 points. Let's check out the leaderboard. All right, in the lead, Southwest Georgia is leading with 5,150 points. All right, what do the pastors have up under those robes? Well, you have a point, Sister Chambers, you have a point. And for those of us who don't preach in robes every Sunday, what do we have below our waist? I mean, that's probably the question, right? All right, so Southwest Georgia's in first place with 5,150 points. Y'all, listen, we've got 10 more minutes in this game, and this is the thing. I've got gift cards coming your way. So you want to win, okay? So right now, Southwest Georgia is leading with 5,650 points. That means somebody just submitted while I was talking. Augusta, Georgia is in second place with 2,300 points. All right. Atlanta North is in third place with 2,200 points. South Georgia is in 4th place with 750 points. Y'all, Georgia and Macon are asleep. Old Georgia Conference and Macon Georgia Conference are sleeping. Where are y'all? Come on, get on the board. Driving home. This is cool. All right. Sam, Reverend Sam, God bless you. God bless you. Okay, 9 minutes and 21 seconds left. Can anybody knock Southwest Georgia off the leaderboard? I mean, Southwest Georgia is pushing the game. Now, the question is, you know what the game changer is going to be? The game changer is the mission about choirs. So y'all need to look at that game. And the other game changer is if you can get a big Bible. If you got the biggest Bible, you may knock this out. All right, so y'all see it. Yes, shout out to Augusta. I see you, Lady Karen Luke. All right, that's right. Patricia Gaines, call some people. Tell Georgia Conference, get on the board. Macon Georgia Conference, get on the board. Augusta, y'all are knocking on Southwest's door. It's not going to take a lot. Come on, Atlanta North, push, 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 push. All right, y'all, let's see. Let's check some more submissions. What do we have out there? All right, so we're going to go by teams. All right, and we have not checked on Atlanta North. Let's see what Atlanta North has out there. So we saw Atlanta North scripture. Yes, I can do all things through Christ on the chalkboard. We saw the book club. Yes. All right, what else is out there? The founder. Yes. Oh, flashback. Y'all, Atlanta North has a video for us. Oh my goodness. Because you need to hear this.
Y'all gonna let the old man be Charles.
Right, Pastor John?
Y'all gonna let the old man be Charles.
Oh, I've got to give Atlanta North 100 bonus points. Yeah, because in their Founders Day flashback, they got pastor participation. Mr. Gamal is in the house for Now That's the Bible, the family edition. Look at that Bible, guys. It's bigger than his head. Oh my goodness. Can anybody? And Mr. Jamal said he's got a big head. So for Atlanta North, right now, Atlanta North may get the 500 bonus points. Oh my goodness. Push, 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 Atlanta. That's right, Dorothy Brown. Augusta Conference, what's up? Reverend Carolyn Bigger says, stay strong, Southwest. Come on, Georgia Conference. All right, all right. I see y'all checking in. All right, so we got to revisit Mr. Jamal's video or picture for Now That's the Bible. All right, what else do we have? Atlanta North. PPE. Okay, Atlanta North. Take a photo of your team wearing a mask. Now keep it on for 2 missions. You get a bonus if I see some images out here with PPP or PPE on. All right. Atlanta North, beautiful mind. Yes, chalkboard. We got Trey. Okay, this is looking good. This is looking good. We've got 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. Let's check out some other team submissions. All right, by teams. Let's check out Augusta. Augusta, what do you have out here to show us? Okay, Reverend Tammy. Reverend Tammy is reading a book. Yes, and there's an extra 50 bonus points because it's clergy participation. All right, South Augusta, Georgia, that has involved. Yes, our Reverend Tammy McFadden. All right. All right, Reverend Tammy McFadden is under the light. Nice, nice, nice. All right, definition, please. Yes, we got the founders definition. Where are you, Georgia? All right. Can we get 50 extra points for the video? Who is that? Who did the video? Oh, Dublin. Now this is serious. Here we go. Let's see what we got, y'all. Yay! Oh my goodness. I gotta give Augusta extra 100 points Because again, we got clergy participation and we juggling potatoes and lemons and something else. This is great. This is great. Go, Reverend Tammy. Yes. You down with the BBB, Big Bible Books. Okay, Sister Luke. All right. I know that's right. Brother Smith said, where is Georgia? Wake up. 5 condiments. Uh-oh. That's only 3, and those are not from restaurants. Augusta, you just lost 50 points. Oh, my goodness. What else do we have? Now, that's a Bible. That is a nice Bible, but it's not as big as the one Mr. Jamal had. No bonus points there. Yeah. Larry Irvin, 3rd. Troy says, Reverend Tammy is killing the game on behalf of the Augusta Conference. Good job, Augusta Conference. And Reverend Tammy McFadden. Yes. All right. Let us see what else we have. So we've checked out Atlanta. We checked out Augusta. We checked out Southwest. Let's check on South Georgia. All right. So South Georgia, we already talked about your beautiful mind. I had to tilt. I had to almost broke my neck. You know what I'm saying? You know. All right. But I like it. Now that's a Bible. Is this Bible bigger than Mr. Jamal's Bible? Oh, y'all see this? We've got 4 Bibles. Uh-oh. Southwest Georgia. I found the real big Bible. Oh my goodness.
That's the Bible Jesus. Jesus wrote in that Bible.
Oh goodness. I love it. Sister Karen Luke said, it's the are you down with the BBB? What you call it? The Big Bible books. Southwest Georgia is down with the BBB Big Bible books. The BBB, the Big Bible books. So I gotta go find now. That's the Bible. That win definitely goes to Southwest Georgia Conference. We gotta give it to you, Southwest. That is a BBB, a Big Bible book. Check it out now. That is a Bible. All right, let's check the leaderboard. Y'all, we have 2 minutes and 12 seconds left of the game. Y'all, you can read the leaderboard for yourself. Oh my goodness. Southwest Georgia is killing the game with 8,250 points. Atlanta North is coming in 2nd place, so it's been some shifting with 4,000 points. Augusta, Georgia, 3,400 points. South Georgia, 1,250 points. Georgia and Macon are still sleeping. Now, see, Latrellis, y'all, I'm gonna have to call my girl out. Latrellis is on the thing saying Macon is driving home. Now, for those of us from Atlanta, we can testify. Call me to the pulpit to testify that I had 3.5 hours to get home, and I am home and up and ready. You know, with a little help, I gave it to God. Thank you, God. And my coffee, I gave it to the Lord. And so I'm up, Sister Latrellis, and I was ready for the goose chase. Macon, you had a shorter ride than me, and you are not up and ready. No, Georgia, you were at home. We were in the Georgia Conference. Where are you? And Bishop, if you're watching, excuse your pastor and preacher for talking junk to the YPD. But where you at? Georgia, where you at? Macon, where you at? Where you at? Oh, okay. Mr. Rod. Okay, gotcha. Oh my goodness. Okay. Mr. Rod in these last 30 seconds said that we excuse Georgia because y'all just hosted Founders Day and you're tired.
But they were supposed to be up even if.
Yes. So on this 24 down, I'm calling the game. Southwest Georgia is bringing in the win with 8,250 points. Reverend Carolyn Biggers is cheering them on. Lady Karen Luke said, we driving too. All right, y'all enjoyed this. I'm so glad that you've enjoyed this. I've had a blast hosting you, okay? The game has ended. My trusty technological advisor, Pastor Will will put my email address on the screen. That's revcmhouston@gmail.com. The Southwest Georgia participants, please email me your name, your mailing address, and your phone number. You will be receiving a wonderful gift card in the mail in 2 weeks. Give it up for Southwest Georgia Conference. Let's review Southwest Georgia Conference submissions one more time for 8,250 points with 16 of the 20 submissions completed. Go Southwest Georgia Conference. Woo! My co-host, y'all was clap on. Clap on. Woo! Yeah! Give them some hearts on the screen. Thank you, Pastor Alexander. Oh, okay. I get to you. Reverend Tammy said she got a fire post. All right, guys. Before I get out the way for the YPD meeting, we're going to quickly review all of the submissions. Thank you all for your participation. Southwest Georgia, we saw "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want" on a good whiteboard. Yes, that's awesome. All right. Book club, Southwest Georgia, reading that book with highlights. She was reading that book for real. Yes, yes. Pastor Will, you can actually make me a little bit smaller and make this screen bigger so they can see these submissions. All right, we got Denisha Chambers with the extra 50 points on the brilliant under the light bulb. All right, Laura, here we go, y'all. Look, the 30 penny tower with the team member. Awesome. All right, the definition of founder, because we are, after all, at Founders Day. All right, then we've got Sister Donna Chambers and a team. And who did we say behind Donna? Somebody's right there behind Sister Chambers with the flashback of Founders Day. Then we've got the ketchup, mustard, and relish challenge. We got Let's Play Ball. Y'all, Mr. Rod from the 2nd District thought that nobody would have 5 different balls in their home. There they are. All right, those are 5 different balls. A basketball, a kickball or something, dodgeball. Yeah, that's good. Okay, missing church. Uh-oh, there's a video. Y'all, we got to see the video. That's real footage, actual footage at Greater Ward Chapel AME Church in Columbus, Georgia. Shout out to Pastor Terrence Evans, their wonderful senior pastor. I think that is Justin Perry, Denisha Chambers, and Sister Luann. All right, that's actual footage. Go Southwest. All right, now that's a Bible. All right, oh, you're strong. Take a picture of a socially distanced arm wrestling match. I see y'all. They are across the island, making sure they are socially distant. I'm for it. I'm for it. This is wonderful. Oh, that was a bowling ball, y'all, in the 5-ball challenge. Oh, God, this is good. Yep. All right. One small step for mankind. Let's check out this video.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. All right. This is supposed to be a video also. Some jumping skills. Let's check it out. Whoa! And the dog or the cat jump. I love it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. PPE, real thirsty. 3 different food chains. Go Southwest. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Hey, Patricia Gaines. Yes. Okay, we talked about that. What a year. Awesome. That is the Southwest submissions. Awesome, Southwest. Congratulations. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, we said that we wanted to check out Augusta, right? Augusta had a choir. All right, so we saw these. We saw the juggling. All right, PPEs. Reverend Tammy in her PPE. All right, her missing church video. Let's check it out. Yes, Reverend Tammy. Okay. Yes, 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 yes. And I hear presiding elder Billy McFadden in the background. Shout out to her cameraman. We got a presiding elder in the house. We got to give you some bonus points just because you done got the elder to participate too.
Bonus points for that mask.
Oh, bonus points for the mask. Mr. Ron said that mask is sharp, Reverend Tammy. All right. Awesome job, Augusta. All right. All of our submissions are here. We are so excited that you took the time to participate. Thank you so much. I have enjoyed being with you this morning. Oh, look at the Yard Pirates. Somebody put their pirate hat on. This is awesome. That was Atlanta North. Yes. Oh, it's so cute. Yes, Atlanta North. You came through too. This was so much fun, guys. What else do we have? All right. Sorry. Let me do all. What's there? South. Let's go back to South. Okay, we saw all of South. All right, let's make sure that we saw all of, did we see all of Atlanta? Because we reviewed all of Southwest. Yep, that's everybody. Awesome. Again, this has been a tremendous pleasure of mine to introduce us to our first ever SED YPD Goose Chase. Shout out to the Trinity YPD is out there that's out here watching. Again, thank you so much. Thank you, Sister Chambers, the awesome director of the Southwest Georgia YPD. I'm so grateful that you had a great time. Again, shout out to our Bishop Reginald T. Jackson, for giving us an opportunity and challenging us to be able to still have some type of competition and some type of fun on today in our closing of our Founders Day. It's all about our YPD as our young adults and about us. And so I'm so grateful that to serve as your host. I know YPD has a meeting, and so I'm going to move out of your way. Southwest Georgia team, congratulations again on a big win with 8,250 points. Again, I'm going to put that leaderboard up one more time just for bragging rights, because, you know, everybody likes bragging rights. Amen. So we're going to put it up one more time. Give everybody a shout out. Congratulations to everyone who participated. I will leave this game active so that you can go and play at your leisure. But again, we congratulate Southwest Georgia YPD for coming in with a strong win. Pastor Will, you can throw that leaderboard up one more time. Southwest Georgia, 8,250 points. Augusta, Georgia, 4,600 points. Atlanta, North Georgia, 4,000 points. South Georgia, 1,250 points. Again, the password for our game is FD Legacy. Y'all call your friends in Georgia Conference. Y'all call your friends in Macon Conference and tell them Pastor C is going to leave the game open. Just get on the board. But shout out to Southwest Georgia Conference and congratulations to everybody. God bless you.